Hello everyone, my name is Mackenzie Burke from TechRepublic. Apple's 2022 Worldwide Developers Conference is happening right now, and it started off with its famous keynote announcing all the latest features being added to iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, and more. Joining me today to talk about these new features are Kaiti Norton and Brian Stone. Thanks for joining me today. So throughout the keynote, there were a lot of exciting changes coming to Apple devices. Me personally, as an Apple user, I was pretty excited to see the lock screen editor and the changes coming to Message app, especially because I can't blame autocorrect anymore for my terrible typos. What feature caught your eye, and why should users be excited about it? Kaiti, let's start with you.
One of the coolest announcements I thought were the updates to Apple Pay and Apple Wallet. The tap to pay feature especially turns the iPhone into a point of sale, which I think will be huge for small businesses and independent sellers. I thought the Apple Pay Later feature was also really cool. It's shaking up the buy now, pay later market in really big ways. Like I've seen news about Affirm and Klarna, are two other buy now, pay later vendors. And they're making moves to expand in the US market. So this seems like a very hot feature for Apple to jump in on, especially with as ubiquitous as iPhones are. And I was also really interested to see all of the announcements around accessibility, like with the dictation, like live translation features. So I'm excited that they're kind of digging more into that as well.
Yeah, definitely. And what about you, Brian?
While Apple had a lot of good introduction items on the software side of things, I kind of wanted to touch on their big hardware reveal, which is the new MacBook Air and MacBook Pros being released with the M2 processor chip. I think this is going to speed up those devices in a big way, and it will be huge for those who want to do things that are graphics intensive, like gaming, or Mackenzie, better than most, video editing. So I think this will come in handy for those people.
Right, exactly. As a video editor myself, I definitely perked up at the sound of those new additions. What about Apple's new features coming to iPad or Apple Watch? Any thoughts?
I was glad to hear about all of the new features coming to the iPad. I may feel this way. I don't know if a lot of people do. I feel like iPad gets forgotten a little bit when it comes to all the Mac devices. I did like that they had desktop level features coming, like Stage Manager, which will help really manage processes in and out. But yeah, I think that would be great for people who use the iPad like myself.
I also am a huge iPad user, and I was really excited to see all of the collaboration features they announced, just in a team environment, really being able to use those kinds of devices more and collecting everyone's thoughts in a way that I don't think is really possible with very many other hardware vendors with the software side added.
Speaking of other products, what do you all think about Apple's new additions to their so-called ecosystem, which includes their home and CarPlay apps?
Yeah, I was really excited to see those features actually added for the HomeKit and that side of things, because I don't think it's really been as successful as they've wanted it to be in the past. And a problem with the wireless enabled devices that are becoming so prevalent for home, like smart plugs, smart devices, and things like that. It's such a nebulous market. Like none of the products really work well together. You can have a million apps on your phone for connecting individual devices. And I think this is kind of starting to change the tide on that a bit. They displayed a list of all of the vendors that they're working with to try and create one central location to manage all of that. And I could see where down the line this will be hugely impactful for the Internet of Things and devices that, even outside of the home or in an office setting would be really valuable.
Yeah, you bring up a lot of good points, Kaiti. And what about you, Brian? Any thoughts?
I agree with a lot of what Kaiti said. When the smart home idea was initially introduced, I think they thought we would be a lot further along in that space currently in 2022 than we have been. And I've personally never used any of the home features. I don't know if that's going to start with iOS 16 and those types of updates, but personally, it's just never really come into my, focal point.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely am a lagger when it comes to that tech trend. So other than the new exciting features, what updates are you hesitant to try out? Not to say that these features won't be successful, but some of the new UX additions seem to be slightly complicated and a little bit different than past updates. Your thoughts, Brian?
I believe that the one thing that I probably won't be using are the new security features. The ability to close off your location or, stop sharing contacts with other people. They put those in place for people that they pointed out were in abusive relationships. Personally, I don't believe that I'll be using those, but I do understand the need for them. And I do credit Apple with kind of installing those for people that are in that space.
Absolutely. Every feature has a purpose, even if it's not going to be widely used. What about you, Kaiti?
I'll admit that the iCloud photo sharing feature gave me a bit of pause. I could absolutely see a situation because of user error where someone accidentally shares something or doesn't configure their settings quite right, and they share something that they did not mean to share with friends or family, and then they realize it after it's too late. So I don't know personally if I'll be quick to jump on that, especially with my friends and family. But I could see how it could be beneficial. I'm going to let some other people try it out first.
Yeah, fair enough. Let someone else try it first before you dive in. Anyway, last but not least, do you two have any thoughts or expectations for future WWDC events?
I think a lot of what was introduced was expected from Apple, even including the MacBook Air and the MacBook Pro. I think a lot of people were hoping they were really going to shoot for the moon with like a AR, VR headset, get their feet wet kind of in the metaverse type thing. We didn't get any of that. So some folks might be a little disappointed, but the rest of it, is going to be invaluable.
I'm personally interested to see in the next Apple events or WWDC for next year, whether they'll bring back in-person events. That was something that, was notable as other big conferences are happening in person, that Apple made the choice consciously to keep it a remote conference.
Yeah, definitely. It will be interesting nonetheless to see Apple return to in-person events, but for now, I will continue to enjoy the chaotic nature that is the transitions within the pre-recorded keynotes. Anyway, thank you so much, Kaiti and Brian, for sharing your thoughts with us today. For the latest event coverage on WWDC 22, head over to techrepublic.com. Also, be sure to like and subscribe to this video so you can keep up to date on all tech news. And go check out our sister channel, Technology Advice, for the latest software overviews. Thanks for watching.